I get asked thousands of questions about trimmers on this channel. So let's bring some light to the subject. First of all, trimmers can make you or break you. Let me explain. We did the Walmart challenge a couple years ago. Everybody was doing barber haircuts with Walmart clippers for $20. 99% of these haircuts came out phenomenal, but you can't do that with trimmers. You need a good pair of trimmers, line people up correctly, and you also have to have a soft pair of trimmers to be able to detail around the neck, under here, and the sides of the neck. So unless you have multiple pair of trimmers, which some people do, it's very important for you to get a trimmer that can do everything in one. So we'll break this down into blade sharpness, easy adjustability, power, and ergonomics. So let's talk about blade sharpness. Babyliss FX3s came out recently, the red one. By far the sharpest blade I've ever seen in my life. As a matter of fact, I used this blade earlier today to clean up my neck and it felt like a chainsaw. I do not like these trimmers at all. I don't recommend it for anyone. It takes me multiple times to adjust this thing to get it right, and I still haven't got it right. Maybe if you're only doing a lineup in the front and that's it, but I'm not gonna spend $200 on a trimmer that does one thing when I could get a trimmer that does all things well. The original Babyliss Gold FX came out. If you look on every barber on every YouTube channel, they're gonna have a pair of these. These are the most well-rounded trimmers on the market. The blade is easy to adjust. You don't even have to take the blade off, and it's a comfortable blade for your customers. Since then, they've come out with the DCL 2.0, which is also another good blade, but there's a lot of trimmers on the market. There's a flood of clippers and products coming out nowadays, which is a good thing and a bad thing because it can be overwhelming at times. A good pair of trimmers that I'm confident in, I can go through my haircuts and I don't have to worry about them. It's the most important tool in my arsenal, because if you have some trimmers that you think might be a little bit too sharp, it's gonna mess with your mind while you're using it. So I would completely stay away from the FX3. That being said, the first trimmers that people started using was the Slimline Pros. These were the first cordless trimmers that most barbers were using. The problem with the Slimline Pros was they weren't reliable and they didn't have that much power. They were a little bit cheap. Everyone used them. They didn't last more than a year. They're very, very unreliable. Then came out the cordless TL liners, which were okay, but they were not as good as the corded TL liner, which I have a video on how to adjust. It has 260,000 views because getting the TL liners to cut right is a job. You have to know what you're doing, and it took me years to figure this out. When I first started, those were only clippers, and if you didn't get them adjusted right, it would drive you crazy. It was that, Styliner 2s, there was no cordless clippers. So those are still a good pair of clippers to have because you can get them relatively cheap. Watch my video on how to adjust them and keep those in the back burner. But when those Babyliss Gold FX came out, it had a combination of power, comfortable blade that was never seen before. To this day, I feel more comfortable using the Gold FX than any other trimmer. For the simple fact, when I'm going on the sides, around the neck, down here, the blade was easy to adjust, and they need to be able to bald out, they need to be able to line up, and they need to be soft on the sensitive areas of your skin. So, in conclusion, I would still personally stick with the Gold FX because for me, they're the easiest to adjust. They have the smoothest blade, and they're still the king of the trimmer game. I'm gonna start checking out these new trimmers, so that's still my recommendation for 2022. I'm gonna continue on looking at new trimmers. So in 2022, this is still my go-to trimmer. Even though it's a little bit older, it's still my favorite and the most confident trimmer I have out of all the trimmers I have. If you don't have those in your arsenal, go ahead and put those in the arsenal because there's still one king in this game, and it's the Gold FX. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.